Welcome to the Lockbox! Lockbox!
Hello guys and girls, welcome to the Lockbox, Odyssey's new chat show. I'm Flame Fury, I'm joined by...
San Alex?
And Borja.
Excellent! As part of our weekly show, we want to discuss some of the hot topics in DCUO and other things. You'll get to know those as we move along in the programme, but we're going to start off with some talk from the forums. Specifically about DLC 7, I believe.
Yeah,
Yep.
Really excited about that one.
So as you know, DLC 7 is on a test server. It's been on there for about a week now. So it should be getting close to coming to live. And there's been a lot of talk on our forums about various stuff regarding this DLC. I, for one, am quite pumped about this DLC.
Yeah,
I'm looking forward to it as well. It's probably the best DLC that they've come up with since the game started.
The raids are awesome. They're really hard, but yeah, they're very nicely done.
Well, all the content's really awesome, I think. I like the storylines that hark back to the Lightning Strikes DLC.
Yeah, it's kind of continuing that story arc there. It's quite interesting, the new solo content.
Yeah. Well, it's all leading on from the story that was in the original game cinematic, the Future Lex and Future Batman stories, which I think is a great idea.
Yeah, definitely. So the DLC consists of two new solo instances, 2 4-man operations, and 2 raids.
Yeah, what's interesting about these solo instances is it's not gear dependent. It doesn't matter what type of gear you've got, because you're using a Legends character basically to go in, and you're using that character's power set. So Bizarro and the Huntress. That's what I was just getting to. Which characters? Bizarro and the Huntress. Which I think Bizarro's brawling and the Huntress is dual pistols and martial arts. So it's very much depending on your skill set as a player rather than your might.
I'll have a terrible time in there then.
Or depending on your gear, should I say. But
yeah, so the Huntress challenge is called the Hunt, and the Bizarro challenge is called Test Subject Number 1.
Bum bum bum. Yeah, the Huntress one I particularly like because it's not all about going in there, kicking butt and trying to smash your way through everything. There is like a stealth element to it, which is pretty good. You can go in there and smash through everything if you're really good with that power set, but you can save yourself a lot of time if you try and sneak your way through most of it.
I believe there's a feat, isn't there, for doing certain aspects of that instance in kind of stealth-ish.
Yeah, I think if you if you don't alert the gangsters in there or something, or if you don't set off the alarm system.
That's quite interesting.
Yes.
I definitely find the Hunt much more easier to complete than Test Subject Number 1. It's quite interesting reading the forums because some people have different opinions on it, and just finding the Bizarro instance a lot more harder, and that's the one I personally even more harder, yes. But yeah, the Bizarro one I had definitely more trouble with doing than the Huntress.
I did as well. I think these challenges are ones for the PvP players or the Legends players because they should find it a lot easier to control those characters. I'm not bad at Legends, but I did have trouble with the Bizarro one as well.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not the biggest fan of Legends. Once I got all the Legends feats, I really stopped playing Legends. And
yeah, me too. I just want to play with my own character.
What about the ops then? These 2 4-men ops.
Oh, they're real nice.
Yeah, they are. I agree.
They're a bit longer than an average alert. A lot harder as well, but they're really nicely done. I love it.
Yeah, a lot more interesting as well. The time travel storylines that come up.
Yeah, you got the Two Ops Family Reunion, which is more Gotham-based and Batman-focused, and then Brother in Arms, which is kind of Metropolis-focused and Superman and Lex.
Yeah, I do like the alternate Gotham. That's quite good. Gotham's taken over by all these Wayne Corp robots.
Yeah, they're definitely they're really good. As Bush was saying, the length of them is just fitting for it. I think the no more like 10-15 minute alerts or 4-man ops as we've previously seen in the game. Every time you get to a stage where you think it's going to be ending, there's a next room or the next
more
situation.
like a 4-man
another twist.
Raid, then, eh?
Yeah, exactly. They're like smaller versions of raids or little raids. They're I think DC have gone all out to change the way that the game's being played with this DLC. Yeah, there's a lot more thought gone into this. If you compare these 4-man ops to the previous ops that we had, the 8-man ops, I mean, there's so much difference. There's so much more interesting.
They were terrible. Sorry to say, but I really don't like them.
Yeah, it's a bit of a grind now when we go back to run these 8-man ops, and I'm not scared to say it because a lot of people feel the same. I'm just hoping that the direction that DC have taken the game in with this DLC is the way they intend to keep on going.
Yeah, I think so. The developers have gone all out on this, and kudos to them for that.
So we lead on to the raids, the 2 new raids. What are our thoughts on these?
Well, got Paradox Wave, and the Nexus of Reality. Paradox Wave one's quite interesting because there's pretty much 2 ways you can finish the raid. There's one main room and then there's 4 kind of different.
4 of them tunnels, yeah, where you fight like a little boss, and if you fight him in the tunnels, you don't get them in the end fight. So, well, you can even do like clear like 2 tunnels, and it'll make your last fight easier. But you can clear them all, and then you only have to deal with the last boss.
Yeah. Alternatively, you don't have to go down any of those tunnels. You can go straight into the boss fight at the beginning.
Yeah, it'd be very hard though, but.
Oh yeah, definitely. I think you need
There
like
is a
tier
feat
7
for
or
it.
8 armor to do that.
Yeah, I believe that's the epic Odyssey feat, is to kill the boss without killing any of the 4 sub-bosses.
Yes, the feat which is named after our league, which has been confirmed by Spittle in the Friday Night Live broadcast.
And then you have Nexus of Reality, which is, I think, the toughest of the 2 raids.
Yeah, definitely.
They've made good use of the map again, a bit like Fortress 2, where you come back on yourself and that. So they've made good use of the map in there. So yeah, at the start, depending on if you're hero or villain. If you're hero, then you get to fight the Lex Luthors, and there'll be 4 of the Luthors, and you have to take 2 of them down. You can choose which 2 out of the 4 you take down, and the other 2 you face later on.
That's a bit like the League of Assassins alert, isn't it?
Yeah, they've definitely drawn inspiration from that.
So, this leads me on to another topic which concerns me, and I'm sure it would concern a lot of other people, that we've had the opportunity to go in and run this alert up to the last boss. We've done it a few times now, but the armor that we're wearing is tier 5, full tier 5, apart from the mods, but we do seem to be dying a lot, and my concern is, how are we going to afford all these repairs that we are going to be running up? I mean, I'm not made of money on the EU server, so I can imagine spending thousands and thousands on repair costs.
Yeah, and just to make it clear to our listeners, the money difference, especially on the EU side compared to the US side, is quite, well,
drastic.
Worlds apart, really. Yeah.
Yeah, where something would sell on the UK or the EU server for 100k on the auction house, you might sell for 25 million on the US server. That's the amazing difference between our economies. And I personally think that we don't need another money sink in the game.
No, and this will be the biggest one.
Yeah, definitely. The repairs are horrendous for these fights. So I'm wondering if there's going to be some sort of change, another mechanic that they're going to add in. Maybe we don't need to do any repairs with these raids, or maybe there's going to be a way that we can make more money so that we can afford these repair costs. I don't know.
Yeah, and I know a good few updates ago they changed the amount of money you were earning from raids and that, but I don't think that's gonna make much difference in these two new raids.
Cover it at all.
No.
You know, there's not so many deaths leading up to the final boss, I guess, in Nexus. Once you've mastered the mechanics and the tactics, but I foresee there's going to be a lot of wipes, a lot of deaths, especially on the final bosses of both the raids.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean the other fights are manageable when you learn the tactics, but I mean you've still got to learn the tactics in the first place, and it's going to vary from league to league. So the money aspect for me is a big worry, and I think that may be a concern of some other people, which I'd like to lead into one of the threads on the forums that I saw earlier on.
Yeah, there's this thread on the forum about the tier 5 league killer from this guy called McLovin or something.
McLovin, yeah, big shout out to McLovin for bringing this to our...
Got a good point there.
Yeah. He's basically saying that tier 5 is going to be a major sticking point for some leagues, and it could look to actually be breaking leagues down and destroying them as people either leave to join leagues that can complete the tier 5 content, or...
Yeah, well, you might... Some players might get the feeling that they're left out, because obviously you want to take the best team you got in there.
Oh,
if
yeah,
you
definitely.
Even want to try completing it, and yeah, some leads might stick with the same people every time, and
yeah, and I mean that's happened with Odyssey in the past as well. That it is important that you've got a team that is capable of getting through the content and completing it, because then the tactics that are learned in that raid, they can be passed on to other members of the league or other raid leaders, for example. So you've always got to have the best team to start off with. But I mean, where does that stop? Where does having the best team stop? Are they going to be the same team every week, or are you going to swap people in
this
and
case,
out?
they're going to be the same team for a long time, because you need a lot of gear if you want to progress in this raid.
Oh yeah, definitely. And maybe for the smaller leagues, that's not so much of a concern. Where, say, if you've got 8 or 10 people in your league, you're a small league, so you can afford to have the same people running every week and not piss anybody off too much, for want of a better phrase.
Stick to the alerts and the ops in the beginning, I'd reckon, and get a lot of gear from that.
But for the bigger leagues, I know from my point of view that I would be quite hard done by it if I wasn't able to get into a raid team, like at least once a week, that can get into these raids and clear them. Because nobody wants to be stuck on the sidelines in tier 4 gear when everybody else is gearing up in tier 5. So I can understand where McLovin's coming from with this post.
But on the other end, you get amazing gear from the alerts. I call them alerts, and from the solo missions. So you can just do that for a little while and then gear up.
Yeah, they have in this DLC made it perhaps a lot more feasible to gear up ready for these tier 5. You know, when this DLC hits, it's pretty much resetting the playing field. You know, everyone was used to just going in, bulldozing through the previous raids, and it was really quite easy to beat them, really, even even in pug groups and that.
Exactly.
So I believe, this has reset the playing field, everyone at the same level again, and, this is hard content that, you do have to work at now, really.
Yeah.
But they have put mechanics in so you can get the gear. You got the solo contents, what drops the marks of the realities, the 4-man ops or the alerts, however you want to call it, to get it, and both of those do drop good gear to prepare yourself for the raids.
Yeah, I'd say it's tier 4.5 gear that drops from the ops and the solo challenges, and then you get the tier 5 equivalent in the raids, as well as the marks of reality that you can buy the tier 5 gear with.
I think you're going to have a lot of people going into these raids, and their aim won't be to finish it, but they're to get to a certain point in the raid and say, okay,
just do one or
that's
two
our
bosses,
point.
and then you get some gear and go on from that.
Yeah, I've never felt sorry for pugs before, but I do in this instance, because even in a pug, you, with all the current raid content, you can smash your way through it if your gear's good enough. But I don't think these raids are going to be very pug friendly.
There's a lot of communication what needs to go on.
Yeah, exactly.
There's a part in the Nexus raid where these two sentinels need to be to go down simultaneously, and you're going to need good communication, because the window of opportunity to take them down is ever so slim.
Yeah, it's an interesting thing actually, because with Odyssey, I know for a fact that we've always had very good communication when raiding on TeamSpeak, for example. You don't necessarily have that as much in a pug raid, apart from the in-game chat system, which I don't think many people really use. But I think it's interesting that these raids seem to be focused on a lot more team-based communication and league feats and working together type of tactics. And then we know in DLC 8 that we're going to be getting stuff for league bases. So I wonder if that was on the developers' part. I wonder if that was specifically
on the horizon.
They were trying to do. They were trying to get people to form leagues and stuff. And
of course, these two new raids, they brought back the necessity of having 2 tanks.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, which is a good thing, I reckon.
I think so. Yeah. You can see even as far back as the Outer Caverns, the mechanics for that raid. There's a point where you are meant to split into 2 teams and work your way through, fight your way down each corridor. But it's never been that way. People have always been in one team and then gone one way and then gone back the other way.
Yeah, they attempt on Enforcer.
Fortress 2.
Definitely going to need 2 tanks. It's going to be quite tough I think on some groups, especially if they've been running with 3 DPSs for a long time. That if there is a group that a static raid group, as we call it, who's been running consistently with the same players week in week out, running 1 tank 3 DPS, they're now in a position. I was like, oh shit, now we're going to have 2 tanks. So I think tanks are going to be a lot more popular than they are.
Yeah, the focus isn't going to be as much on we need good DPS to get through this. We need good tanks now. We need 2 good tanks.
Definitely.
Anyway, on to our next part of the Lockbox. We've actually got somebody that we'd like to call into the channel to interview for you. It's something that we'd like to do on a weekly basis. We was going to highlight some of our members so that you get a chance to hear what they have to say and get to know them a bit better. But also, we'd like to do this for other leagues as well, so we can pull somebody in from one of the other leagues on our server, or maybe if you've got any ideas, or if you'd like to nominate somebody for an interview by us, you can put the name forward, maybe reply on the YouTube channel, and we'll see if we can arrange to get those people invited in, and we'll have a chat with them. Okay, for those of you who don't know or didn't see the Friday Night Project thing, Friday Night Legends, we've actually got in the channel with us now our fearless leader. I was just going to say Sedalex, but it's Anher, leader of Odyssey. Hello, Anher. How are you doing?
Hello, I'm honoured to be here with such fine gentlemen.
Yeah, cut the crap. So tell us a little bit about yourself, Anher. Who are you? Where'd you come from?
I'm a 27-year-old white male living in London with my partner.
This isn't a dating website. Come on, so there's something interesting.
I do sales for an internet service provider. And yeah, just average guy who enjoys working out and playing computer games.
Excellent.
Tell us about your in-game character.
My in-game character is Anher. So called because it's based on the Egyptian god of war and lightning. And I myself am a lightning character.
So when you created this character, did you have hopes that they would bring in a lightning power set? Because you weren't always lightning.
No, I had to choose fire to start, but I knew electricity power set would be coming in due time, so I preempted it. Because at the time we didn't know name respec tokens would be around, so I just had to take the chance that electricity would at some point make an appearance.
So what made you pick up the game to start with? What interested you in the game?
I was looking on the DC website itself, and I saw an advert for the game, and being a fan of MMOs and comic books in general, this just really appealed to me.
Excellent. I think that was the same for a lot of people. I mean, I was very interested in DC, and I've been waiting for the game to come out for a long time before I joined. But if you speak to Sen and Borsha, they I think their opinions may be different because they don't really know. And I don't think they'd be afraid to say anything about the comics.
Yeah, so, I started playing this on a recommendation of a friend.
I still don't know why I started, but yeah, it looks good, and I gave it a try.
Yeah, you didn't need to be familiar with the all the characters to understand what it was about. It was one of those games you could just pick up and play and get involved in.
Yeah. Quite an interesting thing that it was not only for PC but PS3 as well. I mean, I think that the game was tailored towards the PS3 community as a sort of casual game to start off with. I think as things have gone along, it's become much more hardcore in some aspects. So I still think it's one of the most unique MMOs out there. I mean, what other MMOs had you played before you joined DC, Rob?
Guild Wars, EverQuest 2, Lineage 2. That's all I can remember, really.
It's a very much sword and sorcery type of MMOs.
Oh, yeah.
You still play any other MMOs?
No, I dabble now and again with different ones, such as Guild Wars 2 and this new Neverwinter. But DC is home.
So how did you feel the transition when you started playing DC? Because DC has quite a unique kind of combat system. It's kind of what I like to say, all based kind of in real time instead of pressing a button. And...
Yeah, absolutely. It was a different breed of animal, but very easy to pick up and get into. There was no difficulties to it. And it was actually a lot more enjoyable than that standard you sit there and press a couple of buttons for the character to perform an action.
I definitely think that's a selling point for a lot of players who play DC when they start to play the game. They don't perhaps realise what the combat system is like until they start, and I think it is quite a unique selling point of the game.
Yeah, sorry, Rob.
No, you go first, mate.
No, I think it's something that we're seeing in other MMOs at the moment now. The combat system in DC is something else compared to traditional MMOs like World of Warcraft. And I'm assuming anybody that remembers Star Wars Galaxies, it's very much you've got X amount of powers, which can be anywhere between, I don't know, 10 and 30 powers. You've got to map all your keys to those powers, and then you'll end up using them all. It was the same when I played SWTOR, Star Wars The Old Republic, very much. I enjoyed that type of gaming, but this in DC is something that we can see in Terra and Neverwinter as well.
Yeah, you get these copycat games, but quite frankly, they've not executed it as well as DC has.
So, tell us a bit about Odyssey then, from its roots.
Oh man, it was before the mega servers. It was really quiet because to actually try the game, you had to purchase it, and that was quite off-putting for people. So the servers themselves were quite quiet, and we had a league called. It started off as something called Silver Age, but that quickly became Defiance. And as the mega servers hit, we evolved into Odyssey, as it is today, with the players who were in the previous league.
Was there any reason to change your name into Odyssey, or why didn't you keep Defiance as a name?
The ownership of the league belonged to players who just weren't in it anymore, and there was no way to get in contact. So when you've got something like that, you need to start fresh and gain access, because it's just if you can't fully administer the league, then it's pointless.
So how was your leadership come about? Was it as soon as Odyssey was formed, everyone just appointed you, or were you kind of leading them kind of before in Defiance when you couldn't get hold of the leaders? Did you kind of take over the reins then?
It was more of an evolution. It started off with someone in charge, and then they couldn't play anymore. They had other things going on, and it was just put out there for the offers at the time. If you wanted to be leader, you put your name forward, give reasons why you think you fit the role, and just so happened that people can cope with my thoughts and what I'd wanted to do with the league, and put myself in charge.
Is it something that you envisaged from starting to play DC, that you'd eventually be a league leader, or had you not given it much thought?
I hadn't given much thought. I mean, don't like to toot my own horn, but I have been part of, in terms of being an officer and leading different leagues and stuff within different games. So it was even first-person shooters, set up clans and stuff, and we did really well. I didn't see myself going this far or this well, but it was something, you always have to aim high.
So how would you envisage, or how do you rate leading Odyssey compared to being an officer or leading other guilds that you've been in other games? How does it differ?
There's a lot more collaboration in Odyssey. There's a team of 8+ officers. They all play different games and stuff, but at the end of the day, everyone comes together and discusses the points, the topics, and everyone takes ownership on certain things. I'm more there as when things have to make a decision, then I make that deciding vote.
Yeah, I think it's worth pointing out at this stage as well that Odyssey isn't all about DC. I mean, we do play other games and other MMOs as well, but DC will always be and has always been our natural home that everybody comes back to, and we sort of split off and do our own thing, but we all come back to Odyssey in the end. I mean, we've got a guild in Guild Wars 2 as well. I know a lot of other people play single player games. We don't just give up everything and play DC alone. We've still got things going on PS3 and Xbox and stuff as well.
So Rob, when Odyssey was first formed, do you have any idea that it would grow kind of this big in status and kind of we have our YouTube channel and we we have a lot of followers and subscribers on that, and we all try to be at the forefront of everything in the game. Did you have any idea it would grow into something like this?
Not at all. I mean, I initially began as just a member. I joined because there was a recruitment drive being put in the public channel. And I thought, it's an opportunity to get into a team with other players. And as I went through, I realised that it contained some of the best players this game has ever seen. And just through continual integration and communication with players within the league, I was promoted to an officer. And then, like I said before, it went on to leadership. But going back to your original question, did I ever think it would be this big? No. But once I got onto the officer level and then ultimately leader, I had a sense that what we have here could potentially be some great stuff for YouTube and all that.
Where do you envisage the Odyssey going from now into the future? What would you like to see actually happen with the league?
As weird as it might sound, I don't want anything to change within the league. I think we've got a successful formula. We can obviously go bigger, but I don't always think that's a good thing. It might actually be detrimental because you've got that core group of players. I think the best thing about us is that level of communication on TeamSpeak. We're always on TeamSpeak, no matter what we're doing or what we're playing. We're always laughing and having a joke. We're on a first name basis with each other, although we've not really ever met. And it's that kind of kinship which keeps it alive.
We're like brothers and sisters. We're like a family.
Yeah. Although I got all the good looks in the family.
Yeah, we're like lovers. Best friends and lovers.
Yeah, the different characters that we have, I think, in the league, we're all not just from the UK. We have many people scattered all over the globe, and it's quite interesting sometimes hear their stories and stuff. It can be quite fun times.
Yeah. I mean, people have asked about the language barrier because we've got people from Europe and English isn't their native tongue, and people are always like, well, how do you guys get on? And this, it breaks games break boundaries. It's just you don't have to speak fluent English to understand what the goals are. Had to have a laugh and a joke with each other. As long as there's some general understanding, it's great.
You heard it here first, guys. Games break boundaries, according to Andher. It's excellent.
Make games, not war.
War games.
War games, yeah. We played a lot of those. Well, is there anything else that you'd like to talk about, Rob, or would like to add?
You'd like to ask us some questions?
Yeah. Question?
Well, I don't know if you guys spelled it out, but we've got senior members amongst the three here doing the interviewing process. But so, how do you guys see it from your angle? How do you think it works? The hierarchy system we've got works. The players work together.
I think it's rubbish. I don't know how it didn't fall apart years ago. No, seriously, it's exactly like you said. It's you come onto TeamSpeak and there's always somebody here, and everybody knows everybody else, and you're never short of something to speak about, and it's a really good laugh. And I think that's what's unique about us. It keeps people coming back because they know that they're never going to be alone when they come to TeamSpeak.
Definitely, it's a very supportive group of players we have. We just don't talk about the game itself or other DC or Marvel related stuff. We do kind of we can just be wandering around in game, just chatting about normal day-to-day stuff, and I think that's great.
Chatting about rubbish and stuff.
For the hierarchy system, like as you asked, I think it's well set up. You gotta have something like that. Well, it's not a dictatorship. You gotta have some hierarchy, so it's good. Yeah.
People need something to work towards as well. I find in anything you do in any game that you play, because some people do some of their best work when they know that they're working towards something.
Yeah, and that's it. I don't think some people realise the hours and hours we put in on the numerous projects that we seem to release either on YouTube or on the forums, and that each and every one of us, I think, in the league has put in a good amount of time and man hours into getting these projects off the ground.
I think it'd be interesting to hear back from maybe on our YouTube channel if anybody'd like to comment on how they see their leagues and how their leagues differ to Odyssey and how their leagues are run. Maybe there's similar experiences that people can talk about or would like to comment on.
Yeah, that's quite good actually, because I mean, there's so many ways you can run a league or clan or guild, and they all work. But it'd be interesting to see how others tie their players together and how often they get on together and what they talk about.
Well, Rob, thanks for joining us today. It was a great little chat we had there. I think we got pumped you for plenty of information. And long may Odyssey continue, and long may you be the leader of it.
Here.
Well, thank you.
Thanks, Rob.
So yeah, I was listening to Rob. First of all, we just really wanted to really just talk a bit about us and our league as a starting point, and as we previously said, in the future, we hope to speak with other leagues and their thoughts and finding information out about how other leagues are run.
Yeah, I think it'd be good. It'd give everybody an opportunity to have their say as well. I don't think people are heard enough. I mean, a lot of people post on the forums, but it's always nice to hear somebody's voice and hear their passion about the game in their own words.
Definitely.
Okay, so let's talk about some TV and some films, which is a major passion of mine. I thought we'd start off with Game of Thrones, which is a big passion of Walsh's. Well, I was just reading about the Game of Thrones earlier, and it's at its mid-season now, and it's still setting massive records for HBO. They're actually saying that it's actually going to overtake True Blood's position as the network's top show. And I think quite rightly so, because it's one of the best TV shows I've ever watched.
Yeah, same here. Definitely. Acting is awesome.
Oh yeah, the characters.
Yeah, the characters are awesome.
Even the characters that you hate, you love, because they are played so well. What about you, Sen? Have you seen any of them yet?
No.
What?
What?
How can you have not seen Game of Thrones?
It's on my list to watch, and when I went over to visit Borska last week.
Did he make you watch it?
He made me watch one episode. No, I really enjoyed it. It wasn't kind of an action-packed episode. It was one of more of these filler-type episodes, or
it was last week's one.
Yeah, building foundations kind of episodes, and I enjoyed it. And I don't know why I haven't started watching it yet, but I've got obviously catch up on season 1, season 2, and I believe it's season 3. What's on at the moment?
We're about halfway through season 3. They're an hour each episode, and there's a lot that they cram into each episode. But I believe that the seasons are short, so I think they're 12 episodes per season. So that's 12 hours of showtime for each season. But it's absolutely brilliant. The money they must have spent on this series is unbelievable.
Yeah.
And my particular like about this series is this sort of like bubbling tension underneath every different person's storyline. With Khaleesi, for example, she's trying to build up her army to take over the throne of Westeros, the Iron Throne. And I just like that her story carries on, and each week she becomes more empowered as a leader, and you can see that she is in the background. These other people aren't aware of her yet, but when they are aware of her, they are going to know all about it.
Yep, I'll definitely love that bit. That's one of the best. Well, that's a bit I look forward to every week to see some more of her story.
See some more of her, you mean? So what else have we been watching lately? Any genre-related TV shows? Any genre-related films?
Well, of course, the new the Man of Steel comes out. What is it? June, July?
I think it's June. Yeah.
It's
What
June,
do you think?
eh? Yep.
Have you all seen the trailer for it?
Oh yeah, many times.
Oh yeah.
Yes, the new trailer I thought was excellent.
It was excellent. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
And
My-
good casting as well. I saw
Yeah.
Kevin Costner and Russell Crowe. So yeah.
Yeah, it's all good.
I
mean,
think the guy I can't come up with
Hen-
his name right now.
Henry Cavill.
Yeah. I think he's a good choice. I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, my hopes for this Superman movie is that we're just going to have massive battles. We're going to see Superman being an actual Superman.
Yeah.
Going to have very little of Lex Luthor, if Lex Luthor at all, because he's been overdone in the Superman movies. I just want to see Superman have a proper tear up, like a world smashing fight with a big alien or something like that, and just see him being super, because that's what Superman's all about.
Definitely. Yep.
Can't wait for that one.
Yeah,
Of course,
Sorry, go on.
No, you go.
I was just going to say, I had massive high hopes for Superman Returns when that came out at the cinema, and I remember sitting there and I was like, this is not Superman as I know him.
Oh,
or I
where's
want
the
to know
action?
him. Yeah, where's the action? Apart from the scene with the aeroplane where he saved the aeroplane, I thought that was good, but it was too much. Oh, Lois Lane, I'm in love with him. Oh, I'm not in love with him. Blah blah blah. Lois Lane is meant to be tough. Lois Lane is meant to kick ass in her own right, but she was getting smacked about all over the place in Superman Returns. And Superman with a son as well. Don't get me started on the argument of why Superman and Lois Lane couldn't have a kid conventionally, because there's a lot of information out there about it. It wouldn't bode very well for Lois Lane trying to give birth to a Kryptonian baby. Would be very messy, but this Man of Steel, it's shaping up to be a massive, like, awe-inspiring apocalyptic movie.
Carry the comic book character theme. Got also Iron Man 3.
Yeah, Iron Man 3. I mean,
Really enjoyed the first Iron Man. Yeah.
I liked the first two, Iron Man 1 and Iron Man 2. I mean,
Oh,
I haven't
yeah.
seen Iron Man 3 yet, and it's out in the cinemas at the moment, but Iron Man is a very multi-layered character. And I think what Iron Man 3 has been building up to is that Tony Stark is a massive playboy, maybe quite, not, I wouldn't say chauvinistic, but big-headed in his own abilities and his self-belief. But I believe in this Iron Man 3, everything that he holds dear, he loses. So it's just about Tony Stark as the man, rather than Tony Stark, the billionaire playboy.
Yeah, it'd be very interesting.
Yeah.
Do you think Robert Downey Jr. played a good Tony Stark?
Oh, yeah, perfect. Couldn't
He's-
think of anyone else who could do a better job.
No, he's honestly the perfect casting for Tony
shit,
Stark.
yeah.
And not only that, Pepper Potts as well. She's the perfect foil for him. I mean, I love their little interactions, their
Yeah,
back
it's
and
good,
forth arguments. Yeah, Tony Stark and Pepper Potts in the previous Iron Man films. Very, very good. I think a lot of that was ad-libbed as well, so much props to them for being able to talk about stuff off the cuff.
Well, we're gonna see a lot more of Pepper Potts in this one.
Yeah, I believe she
I think
suits up as
yeah,
well.
she's gonna wear a suit or something, eh?
Yeah.
Yep.
That's...
Spoiler alert.
Oh, sorry about that. Yeah,
Oh.
but I do believe that's in the trailer as well. So
Oh.
we're not giving
Phew.
anything away. Yeah. Something else I'd like to talk about is the Avengers 2, because all these films, they're leading into phase 2 of the Marvel Universe. And I was looking at some news the other day about Avengers 2.
Well, are we gonna see Spider-Man?
I don't think so, because Spider-Man's been undertaken by a separate film studio at the moment. So he's not under the Marvel banner, he's under Fox, I think. I may be wrong, you can correct me on that point. But
I don't know why Spider-Man's not in DC.
Because he's not a DC character. Don't get me started, please. Spider-Man is Marvel, Superman, Batman. What we play, DCUO is DC, Detective Comics. Spider-Man is Marvel. The Avengers is Marvel.
Detective Comics.
In what, sorry?
Detective Comics.
Detective Comics, that's what DC stands for.
Oh, really?
I've never seen any detectives.
No.
No, it started off with Batman in the, I think it was in the 1930s in Detective Comics. That's where DC comes from. He's the flagpole or tentpole of DC.
Is Batman a detective?
Yes, he's the world's greatest detective.
Really?
And the world's greatest martial artist.
I thought that was Sherlock Holmes.
No, Batman's better. He's got better toys, forensics and all that stuff. I can't think of any other great detectives, actually, apart from Taggart and people like that. But no, we need a really good action-packed Batman film where he gets forensics kits out and he shows us being a detective solving puzzles and stuff.
Wasn't there talk of a DC kind of Avengers type film?
The Justice League movie. I'm not sure what's happening with that at the moment. There's been a lot of talk about it because they wanted to make the Justice League movie and release it in 2015 to go head to head with the Avengers 2, but I think they're waiting to see how well the Man of Steel does. And from what I've heard, Man of Steel is going to be the biggest record-breaking movie of all time, or of this year anyway. So I think what their plans are to do, they're going to do it in reverse of Marvel, where Marvel started with so many standalone movies like Iron Man, Captain America, Thor, and then they built those into the team up of the Avengers movie. The Justice League is going to happen the other way around. So we're going to have Superman, Man of Steel, and then no, it's the same way actually, isn't it? No, their plans were sorry, their original plans were to have a Justice League movie first, and then have the standalone movies afterwards. So everybody's origin in the Justice League.
Well, what characters would be in there apart from Superman and Batman then?
We'd have Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, Green Lantern, The Flash, Martian Manhunter. They would be the staple guys that I would associate with the Justice League.
So if they plan to bring Batman into this proposed Justice League movie, I think it would be
well, I think that's a big sticking point for them at the moment because they've had a tremendously successful Batman franchise already with Christian Nolan's Batman, and that was a trilogy, and it had a start, a middle, and an end. With Batman, I won't give any spoilers away, but it had a definite ending to the Batman film, and there have been rumours that because that was so successful, they would use the Batman from those Batman movies, plonk him into a Justice League movie because he's already so successful, but I'm not sure how well that'd work. And whether or not Batman has to be the next big superhero they bring into a Justice League movie because Batman and Superman, they are the best known characters, but whether they bring in the existing incarnation or start a new franchise of Batman, I'm not sure. It's all up in the air for DC at the moment.
Personally, I would like to see, Christian Bale return as Batman. I think he's a good Batman.
Yeah, and he's recognisable as well by people. People recognise him as Batman now, but the only thing is, in those Batman movies, there was no talk of any other superheroes. There was no Superman. It was set in a realistic world setting, so no other metahumans, for example. So I don't know how they could justify.
But then it's the whole thing of rebooting Batman again, and that's quite soon after we've had the Dark Knight trilogy.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm not sure what's going to happen. But going back to the Avengers, the Avengers, they can do so much for the Avengers because the Avengers has an ever-changing team of superheroes with Captain America and Iron Man, Thor at its core. And the news that I've heard is actually they're going to be bringing in a big brother and sister act from the comics, Quicksilver and the Scarlet Witch, if rumours are true. for those of you that don't know, Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver, they're brother and sister first off, but they are the children of Magneto from the X-Men.
Really?
Yes, they're his children. The X-Men franchise is owned by a different film studio, so if Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver are going to be in the Avengers, then they're not allowed to mention their connection to Magneto at all because of legal reasons. So I'm not sure how that's going to work.
It's all a bit of a clusterfuck, really, isn't it?
Yeah, words to that effect. It's all very convoluted because Marvel gave away rights to different superheroes. Daredevil, for example, Spider-Man, gone to different film studios. But I think DC and Disney and Marvel and Disney are trying to get everybody under the same roof, so to speak, again. And I've just heard that the rights to Daredevil have reverted back to Disney now, or back to Marvel. So we may see another Daredevil film in the near future. I believe Ghost Rider as well, which we've already seen some films about. Oh, and Blade. I really liked the Blade movies.
Oh yeah.
I think they were done very well, and the rights to Blade are going to be reverting back to Marvel and DC. So in the near future, we may be seeing some reboots of our favourite characters, or characters that you know nothing about, should I say, Sen and Bush.
I got a question for you.
Yes.
If you could pick any Marvel character
Batman.
being DC
Marvel.
Universe Online, a Marvel character to be in DC Universe
Marvel.
Online, who would it be?
My favourite Marvel character is Captain America.
Really?
Yeah.
He's a loser.
He's not.
He's just a pussy with a shield.
Yeah.
He's a paragon of virtue. He's truth, justice, in the American way. I'm stealing that from Superman, but you know what I mean. He's somebody that stands up for what he believes in. He can't be coerced, or he can't be told to do what he should be doing if what he's doing he believes is right. He's a man. He's not a Superman, but he's a very strong. Yeah, he's a lab experiment gone right.
Gone wrong.
No, gone right. He's super fast. He's super athletic. He's just a great character. I think he's sort of like strives for the ideal of Americanism, and I like Americanism.
I'm not an American.
Yeah, I know.
So basically, he's a poor man's Superman.
Can't fly.
I know he can't fly, but he's got all the ideals of Superman, I would say. But
He doesn't have lasers from his eyes.
He has a shield that he can throw and bounce off walls and hit people in the head.
Ooh, a shield.
Let me tell you a fact about his shield. His shield can withstand anything. It's made of vibranium, which is a super strong alloy in the Marvel universe, and he can deflect blasts from anything. It absorbs energy, so you see him jumping out of an aeroplane, landing on his shield, and he wouldn't be hurt. He'd be standing on top of his shield. The force of his shield hitting the ground would all be absorbed by the shield, and he'd just be standing there fine. I'm sure that's happened in the comics.
Could he beat Superman in a fight?
No.
Probably not, no, but if Superman tried to punch him, his shield would absorb the force. And I don't think Superman would want to hurt him, because I think that they have very similar outlooks on life.
How about you, Sen?
Yeah.
Who would I have?
Yeah.
Spider-Man.
Why Spider-Man?
Well, what's so awesome about Spider-Man? Can't
'Cause
fly
he's
either.
fucking
He
cool.
doesn't have laser beams.
Yeah, he's just a teenager.
He's just a teenager with a little web.
Yeah.
But he's a man with spider powers.
He's just a teenager who likes to shoot his sticky fluid everywhere.
Exactly.
Just like any other teenager that you can name. Or the male ones, anyway.
Yeah, I think it would definitely be Spider-Man. What about you, Borska?
Yeah, the Hulk, of course.
Why the Hulk?
Oh, because he's the Hulk. He's the strongest thing on Earth. He's the man. Can't beat the Hulk. Not even Superman. Okay, he can't fly, but hey, he makes it up in strength.
He's just a big green angry dude.
Yeah, don't get me angry.
You wouldn't like it when I'm angry.
So yeah, I definitely have the Hulk in there.
Anyway, guys, if you want to reply to us on the YouTube channel for this web stream, tell us who you'd like to see in DC. If you could choose any Marvel character that you wanted, let us know what your thoughts are. Also, if you'd like to give us any feedback on today's show, anything you liked or you didn't like, you can be as nice or as nasty as you want. We don't care. Yeah, give us some feedback and tell us what you want, what you really, really want.
Definitely. I said this is our first show.
Yeah.
So we see how it progresses from here, really.
Yeah, you can expect things to get more maniacal and crazy as time goes on, as we feel less nervous in the weeks to come. I mean, this was a very, very enlightening experience for me. It's I thought that I'd be really funny and outrageous and stuff, but I've been quite reserved today.
Been quite timid.
Quite timid.
It's quite unusual for you, Flame.
Yes, you should hear me on TeamSpeak. I'm not like this at all. I'm on my best behaviour today.
Right. So if you have any questions
Question?
Questions for Rob, or if you want to see anyone else in our show, well, get out.
Or any questions about DC Universe Online in general, really, if you need any help or anything, we'll try and work in perhaps a question time where we can answer viewers' questions.
Yeah. Also, if you've got any particular favourite threads on the DC forums, or if you've started a thread on the DC forums, if there's something that you'd like to hear us talk about and give our opinions on, then please let us know about it, and you'll get a shout out like we did earlier.
Or McLovin.
For McLovin, yes. Thank you, McLovin, for giving us something to talk about. Anyway, I believe that's us. Thanks to all you guys that may listen to us. Don't know if we'll get many viewers, but I hope we do, because it's something that we'd like to carry on doing. Thanks for joining us today, and thanks to Rob, who's gone back to his other TeamSpeak channel. Thanks to Sen and to Borsha. And from me, Flame Fury, and from
all of us here really at Odyssey as well.
Yes. Remember, kids, it ain't never rats.